right. Hello, Tyra. Can you introduce yourself and say a little bit about your organization?
Okay, so I'm Tyra Moore, the founder of A Girl Like Me Inc. I started A Girl Like Me Inc. because at the age of 14 years old, I became a teen mom.
Mm-hmm.
My mom found out on a Tuesday. I gave birth in the same week on a Friday. Yeah. Everybody I always get that facial expression. And because of the huge response to my mom calling the family, friends, and the community, when we got released, we couldn't even get in the house. There was so many things. And I promised myself that one day I was going to pay it forward.
Okay,
So,
wow.
They help provide things for my baby, so like diapers, wipes, clothing, baby bed, car seat, stroller, and it like lasted for up to 2 years. I had stuff for her.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Could you talk a little bit more about what your organization does? Because I know you do more than just providing like diapers.
Yeah, so we provide like parenting classes with our partners, Nia Purpose for Life. So on Tuesdays we do childbirth classes. Wednesdays we do lunch and learn. Thursday we do parenting class, and on Saturday I run a mentoring program for girls, teens, and teen moms up to the age of 17, where we talk about self-care, preventive pregnancy. We do CPR classes. We do everything a teenage girl should know about their bodies, healthcare, anything, we provide it and teach it.
Okay, wow. Can you tell me a little bit more about your pregnancy class, like what you teach during your pregnancy class?
So during the pregnancy class, I don't teach it, but my partner that's a social worker and she has an MIHP program.
Okay.
She comes in, she talk about like child development, safe sleep, of course. She asks questions. She play like a game to see what the moms know already and teach them things that they should know about, of course, the child development and the safe sleep.
Okay, and what do you do during the parenting class?
So during the parenting class, it's like basically the same thing, but the childbirth class is like it's something else she talks about, like breastfeeding, and also I prepare like bags for them. I get them like different little samples of different things for babies, diapers, wipes. We get them like little baby clothing and items, you know, because they're pregnant. Belly band, of course, too, to help support their back and their bellies as well.
Okay, so can you talk a little bit more about the response you've gotten? I'm trying to understand how what you've done has impacted the lives of the young girls that you're dealing with, especially considering how there's a stigma around young teenage moms and stuff like that.
Yeah, so providing these classes, especially safe sleep, showing them how to properly, you know, lay their baby down and not having extra covers, the bears and things in the bed. Also not leaving them in car seats. I love the fact that they do have like the new car seats that doesn't have the handles, because a lot of moms do. They don't have beds, so they leave their babies in the car seats to sleep. And also with us providing like the free packing place, they have somewhere to lay their babies down. They don't have to sleep in the bed with them. So that's a good help and support, knowing that they can come somewhere and get it for free, and also learn about the safe ways to have their baby lay down and go to sleep at night.
Okay, so do you think there are a lot of resources around that help young girls in this situation know, like what you're talking about, not sleeping in the bed with the baby, a lot of the things that some people might say are common information that everybody would know? Like, do you think that there's a deficit in information?
So I kind of do, because they don't like broadcast it. It's like you really have to search for it, and it should be broadcasted more. So a lot of moms, they do have to search for it, and sometimes they have to jump through hoops to learn the information and get these items for free, which I think it should just be free. And also you should want to tell and help these parents, you know, because a lot of young parents, they don't know anything, and they need the help and that support and that village, because it takes a village to help, you know, everyone. So, yeah.
Hey, can you talk more about what you're talking about, jumping through hoops?
So to me, like, it's a lot of paperwork. It's paperwork. You gotta do this, sign this, do this, application, do that. Tell somebody else, get this, do your fingerprint, all this. And I just feel like it's just too much. Like, you know, if you want to help me, help me. You know, I don't have this. I might not have this information. Sometimes I done been to organizations where they do want extra information. If you don't have it, then it's no service. You can't be seen. And why is that? You know, I need this. If I need a baby bed, sometimes girls can't bring their kids from the hospital if they don't have a car seat. You have car seats. Help me with this car seat so I can bring my baby home. Just that simple.
Yeah, so roadblocks.
Roadblocks.
Bring their children home. That's wild.
And a lot of people say, like, well, you shouldn't have had this baby. Well, the baby is here now. Help me.
Right. Right. And that's one thing that I also wanted to touch on is I am a big believer in God. And I believe if God says that, if she's pregnant, God clearly allowed it. So
Exactly.
if God thinks that she could be a mother,
Exactly.
it's not really for everybody else to say, no, she's too young, no, she's
Exactly.
too this, no, she's too that. Right? But you said we're here now.
Exactly.
So how can we help these people progress?
Exactly. That's just like with my situation. I know what I did. I shouldn't have been having sex at 14 years old. It's my first time I did get pregnant. And I did hide the pregnancy and everything, but my child is here now. What are we going to do? I know I need the help, but help me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So can you talk about the role you feel like self-esteem plays with young girls in a healthcare setting? Because I'm trying to put myself in the mind frame of, okay, I'm a young girl. I probably feel like I messed up and I have to seek for help. But how much am I going to advocate for myself when I already feel insecure about myself? You understand what I'm saying? So like, what do you do to like disassemble that so that young girls can actually get the care that they need in the healthcare system?
Well, just having somebody, for me, I would think is having someone that been through the same thing. So that's why I try to advocate and be that voice. Because with me being that voice, a lot of girls have came out and told their story. And like young as 12 have been pregnant, you know, and scared to tell. But since I've been on the news and they've been hearing my story, I get so many phone calls every day and all day about what's going on. They're scared to tell. And I was that person. I used to get from my mom telling me my life was going to be over. Nobody was going to want me, about my weight and things like that. I used to get teased by, you know, it started at home by my uncle about me being fat and this and how my body wasn't going to be the same. And my mom used to tell people, bring people up to me like I used to be smaller than her and all this stuff like that, like body shaming me. And you know, I'm at home, you're supposed to be protecting me and things like that. I used to get bullied as a kid because I was a chubby kid. That's why my family ain't know I was pregnant, because I was big. They just assume, okay, she eating regularly, so I mean, yeah. With me, I talk to my kids. I make sure I tell them every day like they're beautiful. I tell my son that he's handsome. Like, you know, you are loved. You know, you have to be that support. Even with my girls in my mentoring program, I talk to them. I let them know, like, it doesn't matter about how anybody else feel about you. How you feel about you is what matters. So that's how I just express it and just be the village for others, because I've been there and I've overcame it by supporting myself. Like, no one else matters. I control my life. And that's why I let them know. So.
And what stories have you heard from young girls in the healthcare system? Do a lot of them choose to have midwives, or do they go to the hospital, have birth? What's that process like?
So what I have learned like recently, and just from doing the parenting classes and the childbirth classes, which I love, even when I just had an event recently, I was picking up hangers from them looking through clothing. A lot of girls have been talking to other girls about doing home water births. And I'm like, that is so interesting, and also having a midwife and being at home, the comfort of their home, as long as not no issues going on that they have to be in the hospital. I think that is wonderful.
Yeah, and I've heard a lot of conversation around medicalized birth, that birth is something that's natural. The hospital is typically a place where you go when there's something wrong with you, when you have a disease.
Of course.
So why is it that you feel like you have to go to a hospital to do something that's natural?
So that has been a talk. A lot of the moms, like majority of the moms that have came to like our programs and classes, want to try water birth or want to have like a midwife and doula as well. So I'm loving it because it's awesome. So.
Yeah, and do you support them throughout that process?
So yes, like if moms, we connect them with like doulas, because we do have a birth doula and I don't know the name. I think the afterbirth doula too as well. Come out and they speak and they actually do like classes, and also we have like the breastfeeding association. They come out because some moms are skeptical as well, and we try to get them on that right track, you know. But if they can't, you know, formula may be an option down the line. But we try to get them doing everything naturally. And they really are like up to doing it, so we just see how it goes, you know, once they get to the pregnancy and things like that. And we show them good videos and things, so, you know. Okay,
wow. So it seems like you do have a lot of prenatal and postnatal education that you do. So can you tell me a little bit more about how you even got to this point that you have the Breastfeeding Association and you have a doula program? It seems like a whole lot.
So so with that, with my partner, that she found me when I first like was really doing stuff in 2020, because that's when I really had came out and I got my first office in like Dearborn. She had called me and asked me about some diapers. She was a social worker, and like I said, she has an MIHP program. We had just just had talked and connected, and we just was sticking together and stuff like that. And she was like, why don't we start these classes? I always wanted to do it, but like I'm the only worker for my organization. Now I get volunteers here and there, but when I first started out, it was me and my husband. Like I started off with our savings because it was the pandemic. We just wanted to help, and I knew I wanted to always do this. So I'm like, perfect time, pandemic. But we just knew we wanted to do this, so we started in 2021 doing the classes, and then we just took off from there. We partnered with people, and then I wanted to put in with it, having them learn something too. So that's why I just started this year, Lunch and Learn. So like we just did a class Wednesday on life insurance, so they can know about, of course, protecting themselves and their families, and also gaining money from it too as well. So anything happen and they need to pay a bill or something, that they can get money, borrow money from the life insurance. Also, I can tell you about something else I do. So I didn't get a chance to go to my Teen Mom Prime. So last year I did my first one. I invited 25 moms ages 17 to 100 years old. And the oldest one that came out last year was 25. So I'm doing it again this year. And I put out the applications in May. And the Pistons this year is sponsoring it. So I'm going to have it at their facility. And I'm inviting 25 new moms, 17 to 100 years old, and that's going to be like our signature event, having a prom.
Congratulations. So is it going to be at the Pistons facility?
Yeah, their performance facility where they practice and things. So they have their court is downstairs, and upstairs they have a nice little hall space where you can have events, and then on the side they have patio where you can be outside and stuff. So yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I can appreciate that because I was a COVID grad, so they shut that bad boy down. Yeah. So thank you so much.
Can I ask one last question?
Yes.
How are you connected to this church across the street? Are you connected to the church?
Yes, I am. So actually, let me see. Oh, last year. So I ended up winning a grant through Essence Magazine, and
congratulations!
Thank you.
Pistons,
so they ended up flying me down, and I had to still have my community vote. So they flew me down to Essence Fest, and the goal was to win the 100K. So when they announced it, I didn't win the 100K. I had won 10K. And so my community still won. My community still had to vote for me and things like that. So I made it as a finalist as a top 3. So the pastor of the church that owns this community center, one day we went to a Brightmore Leaders convention, and we were sitting with each other, and he was telling me I voted for you. And I'm like, thank you. He was like, I seen what you want to do with the money. The goal was for me to get a house. I was going to buy a house. And he was telling me about a story of a house that he bought from a family. Mom had got shot up, and her baby had got shot up too, but the baby ended up dying. He was like, it was just sitting. And during the pandemic, he had some older ladies was supposed to be doing something like what I was doing, but it was the pandemic. So, they was like, no, we can't do it now.
Yeah.
And he was like, if you want to, you can use the house to run your services out of. Wow. So the house is right around the corner. So I've been there almost a year running my services out of the home. And this is his community center. I have access to this, and I can go to the church. So
yeah, wow. Yeah. And I think that's a big thing, because church is such a big thing in community, especially Black communities. When you look at it historically. And I think that there's a lot of things now people are really anti-church in a lot of ways. They don't really want to be bothered. But there still are churches that are doing great things like this, and letting community members access it to do things for the community and do things for groups that people typically think churches are like, no, typically people talk about churches are judgmental, they don't want to be bothered with teenage girls. But here is a church that's letting you run this so you can help teenage girls. So
yes.
I think that's beautiful.
Yes.
Well, thank you for speaking with me.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you for offering us lunch. Everybody throughout this whole entire process has been exceptionally kind for me, yanking on their time randomly.
No problem.
Thank you.
No problem. You have a good day.